Chapter 1. Ignite the illegal productivity. There's ordinary productivity, the kind that fills your calendar, ticks boxes, and leaves you tired but not closer to what matters. Then there's illegal productivity, the kind that feels unfair because it delivers massive results from what looks like small, smart effort. This isn't about working 18 hours a day or glorifying burnout. It's about learning the rules the world follows, and breaking the ones that waste your time. Not to be reckless, but to be ruthless with what actually moves the needle. You don't need more hours. You need a different approach to the hours you already have. Illegal productivity starts with clarity. Right now, close your eyes for 60 seconds. Take a deep breath. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 6. Now name one outcome you want to achieve today. Just one. Open your eyes and say it out loud. That's the beginning of focus. That single minute puts you ahead of most people because most never stop to decide what truly matters. They drift. You just steered. The truth is, most productivity advice asks you to do more. Illegal productivity asks you to do less, better, and bold. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing the right things with unshakable intensity. Focus is rare. Guard it like treasure. Fewer tasks, clearer boundaries, and a deep love for the work that actually builds momentum. That's the game. High performers don't have fewer distractions. They have stronger rules about distraction. They don't multitask, they multi-tackle, one meaningful mission at a time. And when they're done, they move on lighter and sharper. Take out your phone or grab a scrap of paper. Write at the top, today's one thing. Below it, write the single result that would make today a win, not an activity but an outcome. Maybe it's finish the proposal, or edit and upload episode 3. Circle it. Then write down the first micro step you can take right now to make it happen. That's your map. Start it within the next 5 minutes. Small clarity creates big energy. Here's a secret. Time management is overrated. Energy management is everything. Time is finite. Energy is renewable. Illegal productivity is built on aligning your energy, not your hours. Stop doing creative work when you're drained. Stop checking emails when your brain could be building something great. Treat your energy like an investor treats capital. Allocate it wisely. Find your peak hours, when your mind feels alive, creative, powerful. Guard those hours like a vault. That's when you do your core work, the work that moves the needle. Everything else can orbit around that. Now do this, block 2 hours in your day. Right now. Label it deep work. When that time comes, silence your phone, close your tabs, and go dark from the world. 2 hours, no interruptions. You'll be amazed how much more you can accomplish in those 2 hours than in an entire distracted day. At first, it'll feel hard. You'll want to check messages. You'll feel the itch of distraction. Don't. Sit in it. That resistance is your mind detoxing from constant noise. Once you push through, you'll discover a hidden gear, a deeper state of focus most people never reach. This is how you break free from productivity theater, the illusion of being busy. People love looking productive. Meetings, updates, endless motion. But motion without progress is just a performance. Illegal productivity isn't about how much you move, it's about how much you move forward. Ask yourself each evening, what did I actually move forward today? If you can't answer, tomorrow needs to be different. Pick one action that gives you a real result, something that matters. That's how you build momentum. You'll also discover the paradox of the 2-minute habit. Big wins don't start big. They start small, ridiculously small. 2 minutes to prep your desk. 2 minutes to plan your morning. 2 minutes to write the first line. 2 minutes multiplied by consistency becomes unstoppable momentum. You don't need a massive leap. You just need a micro start, again and again. Before you sleep tonight, write down 3 specific things you'll start with tomorrow. Keep them visible, on your desk, on your screen, or on your wall. Make them impossible to ignore. Tomorrow morning, don't think. Don't plan. Just act on them. That's the rhythm of illegal productivity, frictionless action born from preparation. People might find your new rhythm strange. You'll say no more often. You'll guard your time fiercely. You'll leave group chats on mute. You'll stop chasing the busy badge. You'll start valuing stillness. It'll confuse some people, but your results will speak for you. The more you train your brain for deep focus, the faster it learns to get there. Tasks that used to take hours will shrink to minutes. Ideas will come easier. Work will feel lighter. You'll stop fighting to be productive. You'll become productivity. Now, grab a notebook and set a timer for 10 minutes. Write down every fear or excuse that's been slowing you down. Don't censor it. Let it spill out. When you're done, read it and write one bold sentence that kills that excuse. One truth that replaces fear. That's how clarity is born, through honesty. Here's the big idea. Most people do more to feel productive. You will do less better to be effective. That's the line between average and elite. You started this chapter by setting an intention, defining your one thing, locking a deep work block, and planning tomorrow before it arrives. Those simple actions make you 90% more productive than anyone still hoping motivation will magically appear. Illegal productivity is a mindset. It's not about speed, it's about precision. It's about breaking the rules of ordinary, shallow work and choosing results over noise. If you've made it this far, don't just think about what you've heard, act on it. Right now. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for a perfect schedule. Close this book for 10 minutes and start something that matters. When you come back, you'll have proof that small focused actions beat endless planning every time. That's the energy we're taking into part 2, the art of deep work, invisible systems, and the structure that makes impossible productivity feel effortless. You've just lit the fuse. Now we build the engine. Chapter 2, Deep Work is Your Superpower. Deep work is the hidden skill of the ultra-productive. The ability to lock in, disappear from distractions, and create something real. It's what separates people who move fast from those who actually move forward. The modern world has made focus feel impossible. Notifications, endless scrolls, the urge to check everything every 5 minutes. It's not your fault that your brain feels scattered. But it is your responsibility to reclaim it. Because deep work isn't a talent, it's a trained state. Here's what no one tells you. Your brain doesn't hate focus. You just forgot what it feels like. Every notification, every multitask, every quick check has rewired your attention span. You're not lazy. You're overstimulated. And deep work is how you detox from the noise and remember what clarity feels like. Start by choosing one block of time each day, 1 hour minimum, where you go fully dark. No phone. No tabs. No notifications. It doesn't matter when, morning, afternoon, night, what matters is total presence. In that hour you build your focus muscle. You teach your brain that silence isn't punishment, it's power. You'll feel withdrawal at first. Your hand will twitch toward your phone. You'll feel the phantom buzz that doesn't exist. But when you push through the first 10 minutes, something changes. Your brain clicks into rhythm. Distractions fade. You forget the clock. You feel flow, that deep, almost illegal sensation that time has slowed down while your productivity speeds up. That's deep work. Most people never reach it because they live on the surface. Responding, reacting, refreshing. But you, right now, you're diving below. And when you do, your results compound in ways that don't make sense to normal workers. Deep work is not about doing more tasks. It's about doing fewer, deeper things that carry real weight. One focused hour in flow is worth 5 distracted ones. One finished project beats 100 started ideas. That's the unfair advantage. Here's something powerful. Every distraction costs you 20 minutes of focus to recover from. 20 minutes. That quick reply, you tell yourself, is harmless? It's a focus killer. Every tab you check, every notification you peek at, it's like cutting your mind's parachute right before it opens. You don't just lose time, you lose depth. So build invisible walls. Move your phone out of reach. Block sites if you must. Close the door. Tell the world, for this hour I am unavailable. At first it feels strange, maybe even selfish. But in truth it's respect. Respect for your potential. When you enter deep work, you step into a state of flow where effort feels effortless. Ideas connect faster. Work that used to feel heavy starts to glide. It's addictive, but in the best way. Once you taste that clarity, you'll crave it more than any dopamine hit from your phone. The key is consistency. You can't enter deep work once and expect miracles. It's a discipline. Train it daily, even if it's just 30 minutes. Those sessions stack. They rewire your brain to focus faster and stay there longer. There's a quiet confidence that comes with deep work. When you know you can sit down and produce on command, your self-belief skyrockets. You stop fearing deadlines. You stop waiting for motivation. You know that when it's time to execute, you can. That confidence is priceless. It's the real productivity hack everyone's searching for. You'll notice something interesting. The more you do deep work, the less overwhelmed you feel. Because overwhelm doesn't come from having too much to do, it comes from constantly switching between too many unfinished things. Deep work simplifies everything. It lets you say, I'm doing this one thing now. Nothing else exists. And that calm, that single point focus, is where your best work hides. Make this your new rule. Shallow work supports you. Deep work defines you. Anyone can check emails. Anyone can fill their calendar. But not everyone can disappear for 3 hours and come back with something brilliant. That's the difference between a participant and a producer, between movement and mastery. If you struggle to stay focused, start small. Set a timer for 20 minutes and promise yourself, no checking, no clicking, no multitasking. Just one clear task. When the timer goes off, stop. You'll realize how much you actually finished. The next day, make it 30 minutes. Then 45. Build up until you can sustain an hour or more without flinching. This is how mastery is built, not through complexity but through consistency. Focus is a muscle. You don't lift heavy on day one. You build strength through repetition. Every deep work session is a rep, every distraction resisted is progress. And here's the best part. Deep work makes life feel slower in the best possible way. When you focus deeply, moments expand. You're not rushing. You're not reacting. You're immersed. The day stops being a blur of half-finished thoughts. You leave work with that rare satisfaction that you actually accomplished something real. This level of focus might feel unnatural in a world addicted to noise, but it's the ultimate rebellion. While everyone else is scatterbrained, you're strategic. While others chase dopamine, you chase depth. While others talk about productivity, you live it. And when you live it, everything changes. You stop feeling behind. You start feeling ahead. You stop surviving your days and start shaping them. You'll find yourself doing in 3 hours what used to take 3 days. People will wonder how you do it, how you move so fast, so smooth, so sharp. But it won't be speed. It'll be depth. Illegal productivity isn't unfair, it's focused. And deep work is the engine. Right now, close this book or pause this track and pick one task, the one that matters most. Set a timer for 60 minutes. Go dark. Dive deep. When you come back, you'll understand everything we've talked about not as theory but as truth. Because once you feel the power of deep work, you'll never want to work any other way again. This is the state we're chasing, not frantic but flow. Not scattered but surgical. Not busy but brilliant. Welcome to deep work. Welcome to the unfair advantage. Chapter 3. Systems make it effortless. There's a moment when productivity stops feeling like a grind, when it stops being about willpower and starts feeling automatic. That's the level you want to reach. The secret? Systems. Because discipline can get you started, but systems keep you consistent. Most people rely on motivation. They wait for the spark, for that feeling that says, I'm ready. But real performers? They don't wait to feel ready. They design their environment so action becomes inevitable. They don't fight their habits, they outsmart them. Think about it. If every day you need to use willpower to do the same thing, you're wasting mental energy. But if you build a system, a repeatable process, your brain doesn't need to negotiate anymore. You wake up and it just happens. No drama. No decision fatigue. Just flow. Systems make productivity feel illegal because they eliminate effort. You look like you're doing more than everyone else, but in reality, you've simply built structures that make doing more the default. Here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Everyone wants success. Everyone sets goals. But goals are direction. Systems are the vehicle. A goal is, I want to write a book. A system is, I write for 1 hour every morning no matter what. A goal is, I want to get in shape. A system is, I work out every weekday at 7 a.m. A goal is, I want to save money. A system is, I automate 10% of my income the moment I get paid. See the difference? One is a wish. The other is a structure. Goals set the destination, but systems move the vehicle. The reason most people fail isn't because they lack ambition. It's because they rely on emotion. They try to feel like it. But your emotions are unreliable. Your systems are stable. If you build them right, they carry you even on your worst days. Start by identifying the critical habits that define your progress. You don't need 10. Usually, 2 or 3 well-designed systems are enough to shift everything. It could be your morning routine, your planning ritual, or your focus block. Whatever it is, make it so simple it's impossible to skip. That's the key, simplicity. If your system feels heavy, you won't sustain it. The best ones fit into your day naturally like invisible autopilot. For example, instead of trying to plan your whole week every Sunday, plan your day the night before. 5 minutes, one sticky note. That tiny ritual saves hours of chaos. Systems also remove guilt. You no longer feel bad for not doing enough because you know you're doing what matters. When you track your process, not just your results, you start to feel a quiet satisfaction building. You begin trusting yourself. That trust turns into confidence. And that confidence becomes momentum. Momentum doesn't come from random bursts of effort. It comes from small, predictable actions repeated consistently. Think of your system as a rhythm. Every time you show up, you're keeping tempo. Miss a beat and you notice it, not with shame but awareness. You adjust. You return. You keep the rhythm alive. Here's something powerful to realize. The best systems subtract friction. You don't need to add more effort. You need to remove resistance. Want to read more? Put your book on your pillow so it's the last thing you see at night. Want to work out? Sleep in your workout clothes. Want to focus in the morning? Leave your phone in another room. Productivity becomes easy when you remove the need for decision-making. High performers are not superhuman. They're systemized. They've turned good choices into defaults. They've engineered their environment to make winning automatic. They design their space, their schedule, their tools, everything, to pull them toward success instead of pushing themselves every day. And here's where it gets exciting. When your systems run smoothly, your mind becomes free to create. You stop wasting mental energy on logistics and start focusing on mastery. That's when you enter a flow of effortless execution. When your life runs on systems, you stop chasing balance. You become balanced. Everything has its place, its time, its rhythm. And when chaos shows up, you don't panic. You just adjust your system. That's the ultimate power. Your system doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to exist. You can refine it as you go. Think of it like software, constant updates, constant improvements. What matters is that it runs daily. The danger is trying to over-engineer it. You don't need color-coded planners, 10 productivity apps, and complicated frameworks. Those things are distractions disguised as progress. Real productivity is simple. You wake up, follow your process, and build your life through repetition. The people you look up to, the authors, creators, athletes, entrepreneurs, they're not always more talented than you. They're just more consistent. They've built systems that make excellence routine. While others rely on motivation, they rely on design. You can do the same. Create small triggers that anchor your habits. A certain playlist for focus. A certain chair for deep work. A specific ritual that signals, it's time. Your brain loves patterns. Give it cues and it will reward you with flow. Remember this, a good system removes excuses. When it's part of who you are, you don't ask, should I? You just do. It becomes your identity. And that's the real transformation. When productivity stops being something you force and becomes something you are. That's when it feels illegal. When you look around and realize people are still struggling to start while you've already finished. Not because you're faster, but because you've built a machine around your habits. If you build systems that protect your time, your focus, and your energy, your output will look superhuman. But it's not superhuman, it's systematic. Start small today. Build one system, just one. Something simple and sustainable. It could be a nightly review, a morning routine, or a no-phone focus hour. Stick to it. Master it. Then add another. In a few months, you'll realize your productivity has multiplied, not because you worked harder, but because you stopped depending on willpower and started depending on design. And that's the real secret. Discipline builds systems. Systems build freedom. And freedom feels a lot like cheating, but it's not. It's earned. This is how you make productivity feel effortless. This is how it starts to feel illegal. Chapter 4. Energy is everything. You can have all the systems in the world, the perfect planner, the smartest habits, but if your energy is off, nothing works. Energy is the invisible currency of productivity. It's what turns discipline into action and ideas into results. When your energy is high, you move through your day like a machine. When it's low, even small tasks feel impossible. Most people think productivity is about time management, but it's really about energy management. You don't need more hours in a day, you need more energy in the hours you already have. Because the truth is, it's not about how long you work. It's about how alive you are while working. Think about your best days. The ones where everything flowed. You weren't just productive, you were unstoppable. You didn't have to push yourself. You were pulled by momentum. That's energy alignment, when your body, mind, and focus are all synced. You weren't lucky that day. You were optimized. The problem is, most people drain their energy before they even start. They wake up tired, scroll for 30 minutes, fill their mind with noise, eat garbage, rush into chaos, and then wonder why they can't focus. You can't produce greatness from burnout. You can't pour from an empty tank. Energy is built from 3 places: your body, your focus, and your emotions. Get those 3 right and your productivity explodes. Let's start with your body, the foundation. You can't expect your brain to operate like a high-performance engine when you're running on junk fuel. The foods you eat, the sleep you get, the movement you do, all of it adds up. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to care. Hydrate. Move daily. Sleep enough to recover. Eat clean most of the time. These are not luxuries, they are performance upgrades. If your body is tired, your focus suffers. And when focus breaks, momentum dies. That's why top performers treat their energy like athletes treat their training. They don't just grind, they recover. They schedule breaks, they respect rest, and they understand that burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's a red flag. Then there's mental energy, your attention. You only have a limited amount of focus per day, and every distraction taxes it. Every unnecessary decision drains it. That's why simplifying your environment and building systems is so powerful. It preserves mental energy for what truly matters. Decision fatigue is real. Save your sharpest hours for deep, meaningful work and protect them like gold. Finally, emotional energy, the most underestimated one. Your mindset determines how far your energy stretches. Negativity leaks energy faster than lack of sleep. Worry, doubt, resentment, they're silent drains. Gratitude, purpose, excitement, they're amplifiers. When you align your work with your why, you stop chasing energy and start generating it. You ever notice how you can be physically tired but still get a second wind when you're doing something that excites you? That's emotional energy at work. Purpose fuels persistence. When you love what you're building, fatigue loses its grip. You still get tired but not defeated. Here's the truth most people never learn. The goal is not to eliminate exhaustion. It's to manage your cycles. Productivity is not a straight line. It's a rhythm: high energy, deep work, recharge, repeat. You have to flow with it. When you're up, go all in. When you're down, rest deliberately. Both states serve you if you use them right. So stop glorifying endless hustle. True productivity is sustainable performance. It's about showing up strong every day, not crashing every Friday. You don't need to burn out to prove your dedication. You need to be consistent enough to last. One way to protect your energy is through routines that recharge you faster. For some, it's a morning walk. For others, journaling or silence. For others, meditation or music. Whatever fills your battery, guard it. Make it part of your system, not a reward. Because when you're energized, everything else flows. Energy also comes from clarity. Nothing drains your mind faster than confusion. When you don't know what to do, you procrastinate. When you're unsure what matters, you waste effort. But when you wake up knowing exactly what to focus on, your energy locks in automatically. That's why planning your day the night before is so powerful. It gives your mind direction before the day even starts. And don't underestimate the power of your environment. The people you surround yourself with either amplify or drain your energy. Protect your space. Be around those who challenge you, not those who constantly complain. Energy is contagious. Choose wisely what you absorb. You have to understand, productivity is not just about effort. It's about vibration. You can feel when you're in a high-energy state. Everything clicks, ideas spark, tasks flow. You're not grinding, you're gliding. That's when you're in alignment. The fastest way to raise your energy? Well, right now. Stand up, stretch, walk, breathe deeply. Motion creates emotion. Don't wait for motivation. Generate it physically. Your body is the ignition switch for your focus. If you take care of your energy, productivity becomes automatic. You won't have to drag yourself to your goals. You'll move toward them naturally because your body and mind are in sync. That's the sweet spot, where life stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like flow. This is what it means to be illegally productive. Not working harder but smarter, with energy that multiplies instead of drains. When you master your energy, you master your output. You stop reacting to your day and start commanding it. You start every morning with purpose, and every night with satisfaction, and look at your progress thinking, this doesn't even feel real. That's because most people live in survival mode, always tired, always distracted. But you're operating on energy mode, calm, clear, consistent. That's the new standard. That's what separates you from the average. So from today, treat your energy like your most valuable currency. Spend it wisely. Guard it fiercely. Refill it daily. Because the truth is, productivity isn't about doing more. It's about feeling alive enough to do what matters most. And when you feel that way, when your mind and body sync perfectly, every goal feels closer, every challenge smaller, every hour sharper. That's when it really starts to feel illegal. Chapter 5. Time Bending, Mastering Control of Your Hours. Time doesn't care who you are, it moves forward second by second without pause. But here's the twist, not everyone experiences time the same way. Some people are always behind, chasing their schedules, drowning in unfinished tasks. Others seem to bend time, accomplishing more in a single day than most people do in a week. The difference isn't luck. It's control. You can't add more hours to your day, but you can change how you experience them. You can stretch an hour by filling it with deep, undistracted focus. You can compress a day by letting distractions and indecision eat it alive. Time is elastic, and you are the one shaping it. Here's the truth. Most people don't manage time, they manage chaos. They confuse motion with progress. They feel busy but produce little. They plan but never prioritize. Time's slipping through their fingers not because it's short, but because it's scattered. Real productivity begins when you stop letting time happen to you and start directing it for you. The key is intentional design. You don't just wake up and see how it goes. You script your day before it begins. You decide what deserves your focus and what doesn't. That's not rigidity, that's clarity. When you know what matters most, time bends around your priorities. There's a simple mental shift that changes everything. Stop asking, how can I get more done? And start asking, what can I do right now that truly matters? Because not all tasks are equal. Some move the needle, others just keep you busy. If everything feels urgent, nothing truly is. So here's what you do, build your day around anchors. Anchors are non-negotiable moments of focus that hold your day steady. Your deep work block. Your exercise time. Your reflection period. These aren't random, they're intentional commitments that protect your energy and direction. The best performers in the world don't fill every minute, they defend their hours. They know when they do their best work and they build their lives around those windows. Some are morning warriors, some are night owls. The point isn't when, it's that they know. You have to study your rhythm. Track when your focus peaks and when it crashes. Don't fight your nature, design around it. If you're sharp in the morning, that's your creative time. If your energy dips in the afternoon, schedule light tasks. Time mastery isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things when you're at your best. Here's the secret. Time expands when you're fully present. You felt it before. Those moments when you were so immersed in something that hours vanished, and yet it felt like time slowed down. That's flow. That's time bending in your favor. But the opposite is also true. When you're distracted, switching tasks every few minutes, time speeds up, and not in a good way. You look up and the day is gone, but your work barely moved. That's what happens when your attention fragments. You lose hours not because they passed, but because you weren't in them. Presence is the ultimate time control. When you master presence, you make time your ally. Most people think they don't have enough time. But that's not true. They have enough time, they just don't have enough clarity. Clarity creates time. Every decision made in advance gives you more space to think. Every distraction you remove gives you more minutes to move. Here's a strategy that feels almost unfair. Time blocking. Not the rigid, color-coded nightmare some people make it, but a simple version that respects your flow. You divide your day into chunks, deep work, admin, recharge, learning, and you live inside those blocks with full focus. No multitasking. No mixing modes. Just one identity per block. When you separate creation from communication, you double your speed. When you separate thinking from doing, you stop burning energy in confusion. This is how the most productive people operate, with rhythm, not randomness. Another secret to time control: batching. If you repeat similar tasks, group them together. Emails once per day. Calls back to back. Errands in one trip. Every transition costs focus, and every time you switch context, your brain pays a toll. Stop paying it. You don't need to do more to feel accomplished. You need to end your day with completion, not chaos. So instead of chasing more, chase closure. Finish one thing completely before starting another. Completion is satisfaction. Satisfaction is momentum. And here's something most people miss. Your time needs breathing room. If every minute is packed, you suffocate your creativity. Leave white space, small gaps between your blocks. That's where your best ideas appear. Productivity without space is pressure. Productivity with space is performance. You're not a robot. You're human. And humans need rhythm, bursts of focus followed by moments of release. Like waves. That's how you keep flowing without burning out. The more intentional you become with time, the more powerful you feel. You realize that the clock was never your enemy, it was your mirror. It reflected how you spent your attention. And when you change your attention, time starts serving you. Soon, people will ask how you manage to do so much. They'll assume you work longer hours, but you won't. You'll just work smarter hours. You'll bend time through focus, flow, and clarity. Imagine ending every day feeling calm, not chaotic. Proud, not panicked. You close your laptop, take a deep breath, and smile, because you owned your day instead of surviving it. That's the new standard. That's time mastery. So from now on, treat your hours like treasure. Guard them. Direct them. Liven them. Don't just measure your life by how long you live. Measure it by how present you were inside those minutes. Because once you learn to bend time, productivity doesn't just improve, your entire experience of life changes. You move slower but accomplish more. You work less but achieve more. You live calmer but impact deeper. And that's when you realize, the real flex isn't working all day. The real flex is owning your time so powerfully that it feels like you've hacked the clock itself. That's when it starts to feel illegal. Chapter 6. Think fast, move sharp. Your brain is the ultimate productivity engine, but most people run it like outdated software. Slow loading, full of background tabs, and cluttered with useless data. To reach the level of productivity that feels unfair, you need to upgrade how you think. Productivity isn't just about doing faster, it's about deciding faster. Every hesitation, every overthought moment, every mental loop, they all slow you down more than you realize. You can have perfect systems and all the time in the world, but if your mind hesitates, your momentum dies. The most successful people aren't always the smartest. They're the clearest. They know how to cut noise, make fast choices, and keep moving. They trust their thinking because they train their thinking. Speed isn't about rushing, it's about removing friction. The reason your brain feels slow sometimes is because it's carrying too many open loops. Too many, I'll figure it out later thoughts. Too many half decisions floating in the background. Those mental tabs drain your focus like a leaky battery. The cure is clarity. Clarity is mental oxygen. When you know exactly what matters and what doesn't, your brain stops fighting itself. Every decision becomes easier. Every action cleaner. Every result faster. Start by simplifying your mental space. Most people don't have focus problems, they have clutter problems. Their brain is filled with unprocessed thoughts, to-dos, worries, distractions. You can't focus when your mind feels like a crowded room. That's why journaling or mind dumping works, not because it's trendy but because it clears RAM. Write down everything that's in your head. Every unfinished task, every thought, every idea. Get it out of your brain and onto paper. Once it's out, your mind relaxes. You can breathe again. You can think. Mental speed comes from freeing your attention, not forcing it. Then simplify your inputs. The average person consumes enough information daily to fill a novel. Most of it is noise, opinions, news, notifications. Your brain isn't built for that. If you want clarity, curate your mind like a sacred space. Unfollow accounts that drain you. Mute noise. Choose what enters your head, because what enters stays. Think of your mind like a lens. The cleaner it is, the sharper everything becomes. Here's a powerful truth. Indecision is the enemy of momentum. Every time you hesitate, you lose energy. Every time you second guess, you lose speed. Successful people understand that imperfect action beats perfect hesitation. They don't wait until everything's aligned. They move, they learn, they adjust. Because action sharpens clarity. You can't think your way into perfect decisions, you can only act your way into them. This is how you develop mental speed. Shorten the gap between idea and execution. When you think of something worth doing, start it immediately. Don't debate. Don't wait. Just move. Even small actions teach your brain to trust your instincts. Over time, your mind learns something powerful, that you don't need to overthink to succeed. You need to commit faster. If you find yourself trapped in analysis paralysis, ask this: what's the smallest next step I can take right now? Not the perfect one, the next one. That's how you break hesitation's grip. Another secret: protect your brain from decision fatigue. You only have so many good decisions per day before your mind tires. That's why the most productive people simplify everything else. They wear the same clothes, eat the same meals, follow the same routines. Not because they lack creativity, but because they save it for what matters. Every choice has a cost. Every "what should I do next?" drains mental power. So automate what you can. Plan your priorities in advance. Free your brain from low-level thinking. That's how you reserve bandwidth for brilliance. Now let's talk about thinking speed, how to process faster without burning out. The trick isn't to think more, but to think in cleaner patterns. High performers don't process every detail, they zoom out to spot patterns. They see structure where others see chaos. To train this, start reflecting after every task or project. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't? What's the pattern here? Over time, you'll start seeing repeat truths. You'll stop reinventing the wheel. Your brain builds frameworks, shortcuts, and rules, mental code that helps you make faster calls next time. That's mental evolution. But there's a deeper layer: emotional clarity. When you're anxious, fearful, or angry, your brain slows down. Emotion hijacks logic. That's why calm people seem smarter. It's not that they know more, it's that they can access what they know. Calmness is a superpower. It keeps your mental circuits clear. You can think clearly under pressure because your emotions don't own you. You pause, breathe, observe, then act with precision. Train yourself to stay still when your mind wants to panic. When stress hits, don't react, reset. One deep breath. One grounded thought. That's all it takes to regain control. Because the truth is, your mind is a weapon, but only if you can aim it. You don't need to know everything to move forward. You just need to know the next step and take it fast. Every small decision compounds into momentum. Every repeated decision becomes a reflex. And those reflexes are what make you unstoppable. Mental clarity turns into physical speed. When you know what matters, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't. You stop checking, doubting, pausing. You just move, clean, fast, precise. People will look at your pace and think, how do they do it? They won't realize that your secret isn't effort, it's efficiency. You think less but decide better. You do less but achieve more. The real goal isn't to think more, it's to think better, faster, simpler. And when your mind runs this clean, this focused, your productivity begins to feel unreal. You start completing days that others only dream about. You move through your goals like a hot knife through butter. Everything clicks. That's the moment where mastery starts to show. Not when you're working harder, but when you're thinking clearer. Because in a world full of noise and hesitation, clarity is your unfair advantage. And when you move with that kind of clarity, fast, sharp, confident, people start to wonder if what you're doing is even fair. But you'll know the truth. It's not magic. It's mastery. And that's what makes it feel illegal. Chapter 7, Discipline, the edge that never fades. Everyone loves the rush of motivation, that spark when a new goal feels exciting. But motivation is a guest. Discipline is a resident. Motivation shows up when it feels like it. Discipline shows up even when you don't feel like it. The people who operate at insane levels of productivity aren't driven by constant excitement. They're driven by systems, standards, and self-respect. They don't wait to feel ready, they act because they've trained their minds to move whether the mood is there or not. Discipline is what turns productivity from a moment into a lifestyle. It's the invisible force that separates dreamers from executors, talkers from builders, wishers from winners. Let's be honest, there will be days when you wake up tired, unfocused, and completely unmotivated. Days when your goals feel far away and your effort feels pointless. That's when discipline whispers, do it anyway. And that whisper is what builds the empire. If you only work when it feels easy, you'll never see what you're capable of. True progress begins the moment comfort ends. That's when your real edge starts to form, when you push past what most people stop at. Discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. It's what gives you the power to create your own outcomes instead of being ruled by moods, excuses, and distractions. It's self-respect in action. Every time you follow through on your promise to yourself, you build trust with your own mind. And that trust is everything. Because when you trust yourself, you stop negotiating with your excuses. You don't need to try harder, you just do what needs to be done. The best performers in the world aren't constantly hyped up. They're consistent. They wake up, show up, and deliver. No drama, no overthinking, no fireworks, just relentless follow-through. Consistency is what compounds effort into mastery. You can't beat someone who simply doesn't stop. Here's the truth: success doesn't come from what you do once, it comes from what you do daily. It's not the intensity that builds your results, it's the repetition. Even a weak effort, repeated, destroys a strong effort done occasionally. Think of it like a gym. You don't get strong from one insane workout. You get strong by showing up, again and again, until the reps become part of your DNA. Discipline is doing the reps even when no one's watching. But to sustain that kind of consistency, you need one thing: clarity of purpose. You need to know why you're doing it. When your vision is powerful enough, it pulls you through fatigue, boredom, and doubt. If your goals don't excite you enough to move you on hard days, you're chasing the wrong ones. Find something that wakes you up inside. A mission, not a wish. Because purpose fuels discipline. When you connect your daily grind to a bigger reason, even the small, boring tasks start to mean something. That's when work becomes sacred. That's when every morning becomes an opportunity, not an obligation. Another truth: distractions will never disappear. You can't control how noisy the world gets, but you can control how deeply you focus. Discipline is learning to say no, not just to others but to yourself. Say no to the extra scroll. Say no to the comfort zone. Say no to the version of you that keeps playing small. Every no to distraction is a yes to your vision. And yes, there will be pain. There will be days you want to quit. But here's what most people miss: pain is not the signal to stop. It's the signal that you're finally growing. Growth is discomfort in disguise. When you start to crave that challenge, when you stop running from struggle, you've crossed the line. That's the moment when productivity becomes second nature. Because now you don't need motivation. You are driven by momentum. Let's get real for a second. Most people will never make it here. They'll start strong, fade fast, and justify their quitting. They'll say things like, "I'll start again next week," or "I just need balance." But you'll know better. You'll know that mastery doesn't come from balance. It comes from alignment. When your habits, focus, and values line up with your goals, everything becomes easier. You stop chasing motivation because your system pulls you forward automatically. And here's the thing: discipline is contagious. Once you master one area, it bleeds into everything else. You eat better. You think clearer. You plan sharper. You execute faster. Discipline upgrades your identity. At some point, you stop trying to be disciplined, you become it. You don't have discipline, you are discipline. It becomes who you are, not what you do. That's when productivity feels illegal, when it's not even effort anymore. You just move differently. You think differently. You live with intention while others live by impulse. Every choice compounds. Every moment counts. Every day becomes a chance to prove that you can keep going no matter what. That's the real secret of high performers. They keep their promises even when no one would blame them for breaking them. They know that consistency builds power, quiet, invisible power that multiplies over time. And when the results finally show, people call it talent or luck. But it's not luck. It's discipline, disguised as destiny. So here's the reminder. You don't need to move fast every day. You just need to move forward every day. One small action, one focused hour, one commitment kept. Do that long enough, and the world won't be able to keep up with you. Because while everyone else is waiting to feel ready, you're already in motion. And once you're in motion, nothing can stop you. Chapter 8. Energy is the real currency. You can have the best systems, the sharpest focus, and the strongest discipline, but if your energy is off, everything falls apart. Energy is the foundation of performance. It's the hidden variable behind every productive person you've ever admired. Most people don't fail because they lack time. They fail because they lack energy. They wake up tired, grind half-heartedly, and end their days drained, running on fumes, wondering why their results never match their ambition. The truth is, time is worthless without energy. You can have 10 free hours and still get nothing done if your energy's flat. But give a high-energy person one focused hour, and they'll move mountains. Energy is your real unfair advantage. It's what makes productivity look effortless. You have to start treating your energy like money, budgeting it, protecting it, and investing it where it multiplies. Every choice you make, what you eat, what you think, who you spend time with, what you scroll, is either a deposit or a withdrawal. And most people are overdrafting every single day. Here's the truth no one tells you. Burnout doesn't come from working too much. It comes from working with resistance. When your energy is aligned with your purpose, you can go longer, harder, deeper, and it actually gives you energy back. But when you force yourself through meaningless tasks, your energy leaks like a hole in a bucket. That's why passion matters. Passion isn't a buzzword, it's fuel. If you're constantly drained, maybe it's not your workload that's killing you. Maybe it's the lack of meaning behind it. You can't fake energy for long. At some point, your body and mind rebel. That's when you feel that constant exhaustion, not from doing too much, but from doing what doesn't align with who you are. Energy management starts with self-awareness. Ask yourself, what gives me energy? What drains it? Write it down. Be honest. Then ruthlessly protect the things that refill you, and eliminate the things that empty you. It's not selfish. Strategic. If your tank is empty, you can't serve anyone, not your goals, not your people, not your purpose. Start your day with intention. Your morning energy sets your entire rhythm. If you wake up and dive straight into chaos, notifications, emails, social media, you've already given away your focus before you've even started. Instead, build an energy ritual. Something that fuels your mind before the world starts making demands. It could be silence, movement, sunlight, gratitude, or even stillness. Whatever reminds you that you own your day, not the other way around. Here's a secret. Your body is your productivity machine. If you treat it like an afterthought, your performance will always suffer. Sleep like it's sacred. Move your body every day. Feed it clean fuel, not just food but thoughts. Because what you feed your mind is just as important as what you feed your body. Negative thoughts drain energy faster than any bad meal. Every complaint, every comparison, every bit of self-doubt, it's like unplugging your own power source. Guard your inner dialogue. The words you say to yourself create either energy or exhaustion. When you speak power, you create power. When you think small, you shrink your strength. And remember, rest isn't a weakness. It's a weapon. Real productivity isn't about pushing non-stop. It's about cycling between focused work and deliberate recovery. Even machines need to recharge, so do you? The best performers in the world don't grind 24/7. They recover strategically. They rest with intention, knowing that energy is what drives output. They don't wait until burnout forces them to stop. They schedule their recharge like a meeting. Because rest doesn't slow you down. It rebuilds your speed. You need to understand this rhythm. Focus, recover, grow. That's how energy expands. Every time you rest with purpose, you come back sharper. Every time you push yourself past exhaustion without recovery, your performance drops, even if you don't notice it right away. Protect your energy like a billionaire protects assets. Filter your inputs. Surround yourself with people who elevate you, not drain you. If someone always leaves you tired after every conversation, that's not connection, that's consumption. Energy vampires are real. Some drain you with negativity. Others with endless drama, gossip, or chaos. You don't owe anyone your energy. You owe your vision, your best self. Your energy is sacred. Spend it on creation, not distraction. Spend it on building, not doubting. Spend it on people who match your future, not your past. And when you learn to protect your energy, something magical happens. Your productivity skyrockets naturally. You don't need to push harder. You flow. You enter a zone where time disappears, where everything you do feels aligned, effortless, and powerful. That's the flow state, the holy grail of productivity. You can't force it. You can only prepare for it. By removing friction, fueling your energy, and aligning your focus, you give yourself the best chance to enter that state where everything clicks. And once you've felt it, you'll never want to go back. You'll understand that true productivity isn't about working more. It's about working from a higher state. When your energy is pure, your output multiplies. That's why this chapter matters. Because it's not just about how hard you work. It's about how alive you are while you work. People think productivity looks like grinding, but real productivity feels like power. You're clear, calm, sharp, and unstoppable. You don't chase time anymore. You command it. And when you start managing your energy like this, when your days run on alignment, not adrenaline, people won't believe how much you can do. They'll think it's luck. They'll think it's talent. But you'll know the truth. It's energy mastery. It's you fully charged. And that's what makes your productivity feel almost unfair. Chapter 9, Flow State, the zone where time disappears. There's a moment when everything clicks. When your thoughts line up perfectly. When distractions fade. When time slows down, and all that exists is the work in front of you. That's flow. It's not hype. It's science, and it's where your best work lives. Flow is the invisible line between average and extraordinary. It's that zone athletes, artists, and elite performers talk about, where they stop thinking and start being. Where action feels natural, effortless, and electric. But here's what most people don't know. Flow isn't random. It's trainable. You can design your life, your space, your habits to trigger it, almost on demand. The secret is structure. Flow doesn't happen in chaos. It happens when your environment, mind, and energy align perfectly. It's not about doing more, it's about removing everything that breaks your rhythm. Distraction is the enemy of flow. Every time you switch tasks, check your phone, or think about something else, you shatter that deep focus. And it takes nearly 20 minutes to rebuild it. Most people never reach flow because they never stay in one thing long enough to enter it. If you want to hit that zone, you have to protect it like your life depends on it. Silence the noise. Shut the door. Put your phone away, literally out of reach. Create a space that tells your brain this is where focus happens. Flow starts with intention. When you sit down, don't just start working. Decide what winning looks like for that session. Clarity gives your brain a target, and your mind loves targets. Then start small. Flow doesn't begin with speed. It begins with entry. Start slow. Warm up. Get your brain moving. Once momentum builds, everything else follows. The first few minutes always feel awkward. That's your mind resisting focus. Push through that. Because right after that friction point, flow begins. The rule is simple. Protect the start and flow will protect the rest. Now once you're in it, you'll feel it. Time bends. Self-doubt fades. You stop trying and start executing. It's not effort anymore, it's instinct. This is where your productivity feels illegal. You're no longer working harder, you're working cleaner. Your brain operates like a blade, sharp, precise, unstoppable. But to reach this state consistently, you have to respect one thing. Focus is fragile. Every interruption, every notification, every quick check kills the chemistry of flow. Flow thrives on continuity. The longer you stay, the deeper you go. That's why the most productive people work in blocks, not bursts. They protect deep work hours like sacred ground. When it's focus time, nothing gets through. And when they're done, they're done. They don't half focus all day. They go all in, then step away completely. That's the paradox. Total focus, total rest. If you want to enter flow faster, you need rituals. Rituals signal the brain that it's time to shift gears. Maybe it's a certain playlist, a scent, a pre-work stretch, a mantra, whatever primes your mind to say, now we go. Your brain craves familiarity. When you repeat the same pre-focus actions, it learns to drop into flow faster each time. That's conditioning. That's control. And once you've trained that switch, you can flip it on anywhere. Flow also feeds on challenge. Something's too easy, your brain gets bored. Too hard, it gets anxious. You want that sweet spot, where it's just hard enough to stretch you but not enough to break you. That tension fuels the zone. When you're in flow, dopamine levels spike. Your brain rewards you for progress. You feel alive. You feel powerful. You feel limitless. That's not coincidence. That's neurochemistry working in your favor. And the more you trigger it, the better you get at finding it. The real key to consistent flow isn't motivation, it's mastery of your inputs. Your mind needs clear space to dive deep. That means better sleep, cleaner energy, and fewer distractions. Because flow isn't about trying harder. It's about reducing friction. It's about making it easier to focus than to get distracted. That's when you unlock speed. That's when 2 hours of deep focus feels like 10. That's when you stop chasing productivity and start living in it. But here's something most people never realize. Flow doesn't only exist in work. You can live your life in flow. When you design your days around alignment, when your habits match your purpose, when your energy matches your actions, your entire life starts to move effortlessly. That's when productivity becomes identity. You're not forcing focus anymore. You're focus. You don't need external hype. You generate your own momentum. People will start to notice. They'll ask how you stay so sharp, so consistent, so on fire all the time. They won't understand that this isn't intensity, it's harmony. You're not pushing against life anymore. You're moving with it. And in that state, time stretches. Opportunities multiply. You do more, think less, and flow through days that used to feel impossible. That's when you realize productivity isn't about time management. It's about state management. When you master your state, you master your performance. When you master your performance, you master your results. And when you master your results, you own your reality. That's flow. That's power. That's what makes your productivity feel unfair. It's not luck. It's alignment. It's clarity. It's you fully in control. And once you've tasted that level of focus, you'll never settle for average again. Because when you learn how to live in the zone, not just visit it, you stop chasing greatness. You become it. Chapter 10, Execution Control, the Art of Finishing. Everyone wants to start strong. Few know how to finish strong. And that's where legends are made, not in the spark of beginning but in the discipline of completion. Execution isn't about talent. It's about precision, consistency, and relentless follow-through. It's the ability to say, I will get this done, and then prove it with action, no matter what tries to stop you. Because anyone can plan. Anyone can dream. But only the few who execute will ever see their vision in reality. Execution is the muscle that turns imagination into movement. It's not glamorous. It's not fun. It's grind, repetition, refinement, and focus, day after day. Most people fail not because they can't start, but because they stop when it's almost done. The final 10% of effort always feels the hardest. That's when distractions call the loudest. That's when your mind says you've done enough. But that's also where the breakthrough hides. Winners push through that resistance. They don't slow down when it's almost over. They speed up. They know the finish line doesn't reward effort. It rewards endurance. If you want to operate at a level that feels illegal, you have to learn the art of closing. Not just starting projects, but finishing them clean. Because unfinished work is wasted energy. Every open loop in your life drains attention, confidence, and momentum. When you finish something, even small things, you reclaim mental energy. Completion creates confidence. And confidence fuels more execution. That's why you must become obsessed with completion. Don't half-build bridges. Finish them, even the small ones. That's how you create unstoppable momentum. To execute with power, you need clarity of direction. You can't hit targets you can't see. Each day should have a clear finish line, not vague intentions like, get work done, but measurable wins. Ask yourself each morning, what would make today feel successful if I only did 3 things? That's it. That's your mission for the day. Execution thrives on simplicity. Overwhelm kills it. The sharper your focus, the faster your movement. Then remove friction. If something slows you down daily, fix it once and for all. Build systems that protect your execution, habits that remove decision fatigue, automation that saves time, environments that pull you toward action. When execution becomes easy, results become inevitable. But let's talk about something deeper: emotional control. You can't execute consistently if your emotions run your schedule. Some days you'll wake up frustrated, anxious, uninspired. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. You must learn to move through emotion, not because of it. Emotion follows motion. The act of doing resets your state faster than waiting for motivation ever will. The moment you start, momentum takes over. And momentum is the most loyal ally of execution. Here's a truth few will tell you. Your success doesn't come from the massive bursts of effort you show the world. It comes from the invisible hours you put in when no one's watching. That's where mastery is forged. When you're deep in the grind, remember this: the world doesn't reward the person who almost did it. It rewards the one who finished it. Even if it's messy. Even if it's not perfect. Done is always better than almost perfect. You can refine later. But you can't refine what doesn't exist. So train yourself to finish. To close. To follow through. Make it your identity. I finish what I start. Because when that becomes your truth, everything changes. People begin to trust you. Opportunities follow you. And most importantly, you begin to trust yourself. That trust is rare. It's power. When you know you'll follow through, hesitation disappears. You stop negotiating with yourself. You just move. Execution control isn't just about willpower, it's about automation. Make it harder to fail than to win. Design your life so that the path of least resistance leads toward your goals. Want to write daily? Keep your notes open on your desktop. Want to work out? Lay your clothes out the night before. Want to eat clean? Don't buy junk. Remove decisions. Remove temptation. Let structure do the heavy lifting. Because when you rely only on willpower, you're fighting uphill. When you rely on systems, you're gliding downhill. And that's how the best stay consistent, not by grinding harder but by building smarter. Here's what separates the unstoppable from the uncertain. They don't wait for perfect plans, they adapt in motion. They learn, they adjust, they execute. And every time they fall, they get up faster. They know that momentum loves movement, not excuses. You can't control every outcome, but you can always control your effort. You can always control your response. And if you do that long enough, the world bends toward your consistency. That's when people start calling it unfair. But it's not unfair. It's just rare. Because most stop at 80%. You'll be the one who goes to 100%. You'll be the one who gets it done. Every time. That's the code. That's the standard. That's execution mastery. And when you live by that code, when finishing becomes your reflex, you don't just get results. You become unstoppable. You move like time doesn't apply to you. You create like the universe owes you success. You execute with a calm so confident it feels unreal. And that's when people start whispering the same thing again. Whatever they're doing, it feels illegal.